dog coming? Page 126.
Yedit nefesh af harachaman, Yedit nefesh af harachaman, v'shochavtecha el ratzonecha, v'shochavtecha yalai lai 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 el ratzonecha. Ya lai 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 el mul hadarecha Yedit nefesh af harachaman Yedit nefesh af harachaman v'shochavtecha el ratzonecha Ya lai 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 el ratzonecha.
On page 127, we offer thanks, O God, for this Shabbat which unites us in faith and hope, for Shabbat holiness which inspires sacred living, for Shabbat memories glowing even in darkness, for Shabbat peace born of friendship and love. We offer thanks and blessing, O God. Page 131, Shiru Ladonai.
Shiru Ladonai, Shiru Shir Chadash, Shiru Ladonai, Kol Haaretz, Shiru Ladonai, Shiru Shir Chadash, Shiru Ladonai, Kol Haaretz, Shiru Ladonai, Baruch Shemo, Basru miyom leyom Yeshuato, Shiru Ladonai, Baruch Shemo, Basru miyom leyom Yeshuato, Shiru Ladonai, Shiru Shir Chadash, Shiru Ladonai, Kol Haaretz, Shiru Ladonai, Shiru Shir Chadash, Shiru Ladonai, Kol Haaretz, Shiru Ladonai, Baruch Shemo, Basru miyom leyom Yeshuato, Shiru Ladonai, Baruch Shemo, Basru miyom leyom Yeshuato.
Page 134, Zamru Ladonai.
Zamru Ladonai bechino, bechino v'kol zimra, b'chotzotrot v'kol shofar, hariu lifnei hamelech Adonai, yeram hayam umlo, tevel v'yoshvei ba, nehachot yimchauchav, yachad arem yeranenu, lifnei Adonai kiva lishpot haaretz, yishpot tevel b'tzedek, ve'amim b'meisharim, yeram hayam umlo, tevel v'yoshvei ba, nehachot yimchauchav, yachad arem yeranenu.
Let us turn forward to page 138 for Lecha Dodi.
Lecha Dodi likat kala, Pnei Shabbat nekabela. Lecha Dodi likat kala, Pnei Shabbat nekabela. Lecha Dodi, Lecha Dodi likat kala, Pnei Shabbat nekabela. Lecha Dodi likat kala, Pnei Shabbat nekabela. Shamor v'zachor b'dibur echad, Hishmiyanu el am yuchad, Adonai echad, u'shemo echad, L'shemo teferet v'letila. Lecha Dodi, Lecha Dodi likat kala, Pnei Shabbat nekabela. Lecha Dodi likat kala, Pnei Shabbat nekabela. Likrat Shabbat lechu v'nelcha, Ki makor habracha, Merosh mikedem nesucha, Sof ma'aseh b'machashava techila. Lecha Dodi, Lecha Dodi likat kala, Pnei Shabbat nekabela. Lecha Dodi likat kala, Pnei Shabbat nekabela. Hitoreri, hitoreri, Ki va'orer kumi uri, 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 shedaberi, Kavod Adonai alayech nigla. Lecha Dodi, Lecha Dodi likat kala, Pnei Shabbat nekabela. Lecha Dodi likat kala, Pnei Shabbat nekabela. Bo'i v'shalom ateret bala, Gam b'simcha u'v'tzola, Toch emunei am segula. Bo'i chala, bo'i chala. Lecha Dodi, Lecha Dodi likat kala, Pnei Shabbat nekabela. Lecha Dodi likat kala, Pnei Shabbat nekabela.
As we have welcomed Shabbat with the singing of Lecha Dodi, Hillary, I'd like to invite you to light our Shabbat candles, if you'd like to come up. Mia, I'm not sure if you want to come up as well. Not this time. And I don't know if you'd like to light our candle of hope as well for our hostages. Yes, please. Amen. Let's take a moment to turn to one another around us, wishing each other a Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom.
You got a member of your choir.
Yeah. It's all dry up here. Shabbat shalom.
Pleasure to see you again.
Yes.
Everybody's going over to see the dog.
Oh, is there a dog? Is there?
Go see Mia's got a little dog.
Oh, she brought him.
Mia sent me a message and I said,
Yes.
you don't ask permission.
Well, my grandmother always said, you don't ask a question unless you really want to know the answer. So.
Or you know the answer.
Yeah. Oh, yes, I see him now.
I would like to acknowledge that we are gathered on the traditional lands of the Whadjuk Noongar people, and that let us respect their continuing culture and contribution they make to the life of the city and the region. I'd also like to welcome those who are joining us through Temple David TV, through our live streaming. We welcome those of you joining us from across the country and the region, but I think there might be people from across the world. I look at the IP addresses. I don't know if you can believe IP addresses, probably not. But wherever you are, we're grateful for you joining us. And a couple of new people joining us tonight. Jessica and Andrew, welcome. It's lovely to have you. So thank you for being here tonight. I think you're going to come over for dinner for our young adults. And you recently got engaged. So Mazal Tov, as we say. Mazal Tov. It's very exciting. You can see the smiles on your face from ear to ear. May it continue. What are you laughing at, Jeffrey? You're going to get an elbow in the ribs in a minute.
Yes.
Harvey, welcome back. It's good to see you. It's been a while. It's lovely to have you back in the congregation. Mia, lovely to have you and Beatrice crossing the Nullarbor together. If you haven't heard Beatrice, you might. Your mum is shrinking in the chair. Who's met Beatrice? Anybody meet Beatrice yet? You heard Beatrice. I'm just pretending I didn't even know Beatrice was here. A little bit smaller than Kelev. And so... Yeah. I don't know, are you coming for dinner tonight as well? I told your mum to tell you about dinner. She's too old. She's too old. I didn't invite your mum for dinner. Oh, yeah, she's too old. Sorry. Rain check. Sorry, Hillary. Next time. Let us continue with Shalom Aleichem on page 142.
Shalom Aleichem, Malachei Hasharet, Malachei Elyon. Mihi Melech, Malachei Hamlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Bachem LeShalom, Malachei HaShalom, Malachei Elyon. Mihi Melech, Malachei Hamlachim, HaKadosh Bachuni LeShalom, Malachei HaShalom, Malachei Elyon. Mihi Melech, Malachei Hamlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Tzedchem LeShalom, Malachei HaShalom, Malachei Elyon. Mihi Melech, Malachei Hamlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu.
We turn over to page 144 for the Chatzi Kaddish. Let us rise if we are able.
יתקרב ויתקדש מאבא,
Page 148, the blessing that brings about the evening. Baruch haba atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, asher bidbaro ma'ariv aravim, v'chokhma poteach sharim, uvidbuna meshane itim, umachalif et hazmanim, umsader et hakochavim, v'mishmorotehem barakia kirtzono. Borei yom v'layla, golel or mipnei choshech, v'choshech mipnei or, uma'avir yom umevi layla, uma'avdil ben yom uben layla, Adonai tzavaot shemo. El chai v'kayam tamid yimloch aleinu leolam va'ed, Baruch atah Adonai, hama'ariv aravim.
Ahavat olam, Beit Yisrael, Amcha avta, Torah u'mitzvot, Hukim u'mishpatim, Otanu limadata, Al kain Adonai, Eloheinu b'shachbeinu, ufkumeinu na'aseh b'chukecha, v'nismach b'divrei toratecha, u'b'mitzvotecha le'olam va'ed, ki hem chayenu, v'orach yameinu, uvahem nege yomam v'layla, ve'ahavat ra'al tasir, mimenu l'olamim, Baruch atah Adonai, Ohef amo Yisrael, Ohef amo Yisrael. Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai echad. Baruch Shem kevod malchuto, leolam va'ed.
We may be seated.
Ve'ahavta et Adonai Elohecha b'chol levavecha u'b'chol nafshecha u'b'chol meodecha v'hayu הדברים האלה, אשר אנוכי מצווך היום על לבביך, ושיננתם לבניך, ודיברת בם, בשבתך בביתך, ובלכתך בדרך, ובשוכבך ובקומך, וקשרתם לאות על ידיך, והיו לטוטפות בין עיניך, וכתבתם על מזוזות ביתך ובשעריך, למען תזכרו ועשיתם את כל מצוותיי, והייתם קדושים לאלוהיכם. אני אדוני אלוהיכם, אשר הוצאתי אתכם מארץ מצרים, להיות לכם לאלוהים. אני אדוני אלוהיכם, אדוני אלוהיכם אמת.
Page 157. In a world torn by violence and pain, a world far from wholeness and peace, give us the courage to say there is one God in heaven and earth.
The high heavens declare your glory. May earth reveal your justice and love.
From bondage in Egypt we were delivered at Sinai. We bound ourselves to your way.
Inspired by prophets and instructed by sages, time and again we overcame oppressive forces.
Though our failings are many and our faults are great, it has been our glory to bear witness to our God, keeping alive in dark ages your vision of a world redeemed.
Let us continue to work for the day when the nations will be one and at peace.
Then shall we rejoice as Israel did, singing on the shores of the sea, our song of freedom, Mi Chamocha.
Mi chamocha, mi chamocha, mi chamocha, ba'elim Adonai. Mi chamocha, mi chamocha, Nida bakodesh, malchutecha, ra'u banecha, bokei hayam lefnei Moshe u'Miriam, zeli anu v'amru Adonai yimloch le'olam ba'ed.
ונאמר, כי פדה אדוני את יעקב וגאלו מיד חזק ממנו, ברוך אתה אדוני, גאל ישראל. On page 160, Hashkivenu, a prayer of shelter.
Ashkivenu Adonai, Eloheinu leshalom, v'hamidenu malkeinu l'chaim. Ashkivenu Adonai, Eloheinu leshalom, v'hamidenu malkeinu l'chaim.
ופרוס עלינו סוכת שלומך, ותקננו בעצה טובה מלפניך, והושיענו למען שמך. והגן בעדנו והסר מעלינו אויב, דבר וחרב ורעב ועגון, מהרחק ממנו ועוון ופשע. ובצל כנפיך ותסתירנו, כי אל שומרנו ומצילנו אתה, כי אל חנון ורחום אתה. ושמור צאתנו ובואנו לחיים ולשלום מעתה ועד עולם. ברוך אתה אדוני, הפורש סוכת שלום עלינו ועל כל עמו ישראל ועל ירושלים. ושמרו on page 162.
ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. ביני ובין בני ישראל, ביני ובין בני ישראל, אותי לעולם, אותי לעולם. ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. כי ששת ימים, כי ששת ימים עשה אדוני את השמיים ואת הארץ. ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. וביום השביעי שבת וינפש, ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם.
Let us. Is that what he said?
They did well tonight, though, with the clapping.
Oh, Ken. Let us rise for the Amidah on page 164.
Adonai sefatai tiftach ufiagi tehillatcha. Adonai sefatai tiftach ufiagi tehillatcha. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu Elohei Avotenu v'Avotenu, Elohei Avraham, Elohei Yitzchak, Elohei Yaakov, Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Rachel, Elohei Leah, Ha'el Hagadol, Hagibor, Hanora, El Elyon, Gomer Chasadim Tovim, V'Konei Hakol, V'Zocher Chasdei Avot V'Imot, U'Mevii Gula Lifnei B'nei למען שמו באהבה, מלך עוזר ומושיע ומגן, ברוך אתה אדוני, מגן אברהם וששרה. אתה גיבור לעולם אדוני, וחיי הכל אתה רב להושיע. משיחה רוח ומוריד הגשם, מוציאך השמש ומוריד הטל. וחכה חיים בחסד, וחיי הכל ברחמים רבים. סומך נופלי ורופא חולי, ומציע סודים, ומקיים אמונתו לשון את עפר. מי כמוך בעל גבורות, ומי דומה
Hashem b'chol yom yehalu chasela. Baruch atah Adonai. Continue now with the prayers of our hearts, or the words of our on the page, beginning on page 172, and then continuing to page 180. And please feel free to have a seat once you've completed your prayers. יהיו לרצון אמרי והגיון ליבי לפניך, Adonai tzuri v'goali. May the words of my mouth and the meditations of my heart be acceptable to you, O God, my rock and my redeemer.
עושה שלום במרומיו, הוא יעשה שלום עלינו ועל כל ישראל, ואמרו אמן. יעשה שלום, יעשה שלום, שלום עלינו ועל כל ישראל. יעשה שלום, יעשה שלום, שלום עלינו ועל כל ישראל. יעשה שלום, יעשה שלום, שלום עלינו ועל כל ישראל. יעשה שלום, יעשה שלום, שלום עלינו ועל כל ישראל.
V'al kol yoshvei tevel, may God bring peace to the entire world, and let us say,
Amen.
Amen. I kept going over to the computer in disbelief to see how many people are actually live streaming with us tonight, and it keeps going up. And the amount of people, and it's not just my mother who's commenting, and the amount of people who are commenting tonight, there's quite a lot. Usually it's just, one or two. It's Yafa and it's Terry, but there's a lot of people, just wishing each other Shabbat Shalom, creating an online community, which is wonderful. And there are 24 people right now watching us online. More than that's in the sanctuary. This, by the way, for those of you who can't tell, but there's 21 of us in the sanctuary tonight. So that's, when you think about it, that's a lot of people that are engaged with Shabbat services here at Temple David. And we mustn't underestimate the importance of that. It's not just who are present, but and that screens that doesn't count the number of people who are behind the screens, right? Because I know that my mum's online, that includes my dad and my daughter, so that's 3 people, right? So that just takes that up a notch. And that's the amazing part about technology. And if we were to look at the strictness of halakha, the strictness of Jewish law, the absolute, it would say this would not be allowed. We know that. Using technology on Shabbat is verboten, if you will, forbidden. To use the German Yiddish, it would not, and this is it's not permissible. And looking at this week's parasha, what I love about this week's parasha is it throws in for us an anomaly. And I should have brought my red heifer. I have a little red cow. A heifer is a cow, right? It throws in a red heifer for us. And what the red heifer does, if anybody knows what the red heifer is, in ritual law, Jewish ritual law, is it takes something that is pure and makes it impure, and if you're pure, it makes you impure, and if you're impure, it makes you pure. So it does the opposite. And it's called a chuk, which is that's why this week's parasha, Torah portion, is called chukat. Because it's a chuk. And there are 2 types of laws in Judaism. And Jeffrey and I were talking about this before the service. Jeffrey, I'm not going to put you on the spot, don't worry, not today. Other times maybe. There are 2 types of laws in Judaism. There are chukim, chuk, or this week's Torah portion, chukat. It's a chukat olam because it's an in construct word. It's a chuk, which means that it is a law that is irrational. I'm not even going to put it out there, right, Ken, to ask you what the difference is. It's a law that doesn't make sense. So there are a whole bunch of laws in Judaism that we are meant to just do, even though it makes 0 sense. How about that? And then there are the mishpatim. And there's a Torah portion named mishpatim. These are laws that make sense. For example, a modern example is wear a seatbelt. Makes sense, right? A Jewish example on that is don't steal. Makes perfect sense. Don't covet. I'm just using 10 Commandment example. Don't put a stumbling block in front of the blind. Put a parapet around one's house. Laws that make sense. And then there are a lot of ritual laws to do with, like, keep kosher. Makes no sense to keep kosher. Why do we keep kosher? Because, as God said. So if God tells us to do something and we don't understand why, not because we haven't delved into the why, it doesn't make any sense to the rabbis as well. It's generally going to be a chok. And there was this time when the rabbis were trying to figure out and really push for understanding. Now, there are things in life we just don't get. No matter how much our rational mind pushes us to try to understand, there are things in life we will never fully understand. And there was a time when the rabbis were pushed to try to understand even the chukim. And they were pushed to try to understand the chukim because they lived in a time when the world in which they lived in wanted them to understand everything through rationality. And can you figure out what time that was? When was the ultimate time of rationality? Rowan, you're trying to... Yes, exactly, the Hellenist time. The Hellenists. And can you name me some philosophers from that time? Yes. 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 They were the, let's call them, I'll stop you there. That's good enough. You've done very well. Socrates, Aurelius, Plato, they were the kings of, we assume they're blokes. Kings of philosophy, the kings of rational thought. And then at some point, Judaism decided, well, you know what? We have these chukim, these laws, which we will never, and we're not even going to try to attempt to decipher, because we can't. Because we're going to come back to our original roots, because God said. Because just God said. And one of those is, can you give me one that is one profound, not a law necessarily. Perhaps it's more of an emotion that we can never try to rationalize. As I've grew up in a rational family, with rational thought. You have to rationalize everything. But there was one thing that I pushed back on and said, well, you can't rationalize that. And it is love. Somebody's doing love signs. Emily's doing love signs. Love. And that was the one thing that the rabbis, there isn't really a chok or a mishpat. There isn't a rule or a law about love in Judaism about it. It just is. Because it's an emotion. There is this one saying, "V'ahavta l'reacha kamocha," and where we are commanded to love our neighbor as ourself. But when it comes to our family, there's no commandment to love our family. There's a commandment to honor our parents, but not to love our parents. It's to respect or revere our parents. Yeah, but that's with God. But that's God. But it's not our family. It's not our family. But yet, that love is something we feel for family. It's irrational. Or is it rational? And I'm obviously talking about in the sense of more of a healthy relationship. But can one rationalize love? You can command love. V'ahavta l'reacha kamocha. You can command somebody to love God. You can command somebody to love your neighbor. But you can't command somebody to love one's family. And so I'll leave you to ponder, why can you not command somebody to love family? The people that are meant to be the closest to you, why do we not command ourselves to love? Or I would imagine that would fall under the irrational. or the rational? Is it a given? I don't know if it's a given or not. And I think that's the question. There's no simple answer. What is love? Oh, that's a whole nother sermon. Are you starting to sing? That's the end of the sermon. Shabbat Shalom. When you start singing, that's the end. But that's the question. It's like, I'm not going to always give you answers. Sometimes they're questions, for more conversations. You can get up, you don't have to sit back down. I'm meant to make you think. You all look so disappointed. And oh, well. We're going to turn to Aleinu on page 586. Who knows, maybe I don't have the people online. Maybe somebody online, that's why I need to have the comments from online. Maybe somebody online has the brilliant answer. Margaret, would you like to come up and open our ark for us, please?
עלינו לשבח לאדון הכל, לתת גדולה יוצא בראשית, שהוא נוטה שמיים ויוצא את הארץ, ומושב כקרוב השמיים ממעל, ושכינתו זו בגופי מרומים, הוא אלוהינו אין עוד, ואנחנו קוראים ומשתחווים ומודים לפני מלך מלכי המלכים הקדוש ברוך הוא, שהוא נוטה שמיים ויוצא את הארץ, ומושב יקרוב השמיים ממעל, ושכינתו זו בגופי מרומים, הוא אלוהינו אין עוד, אמת מלכנו אפס זולתו, ככתוב בתורתו, וידעת היום והשמות אל לבביך, כי אדוני הוא האלוהים, השמיים ממעל, ועל הארץ מתחת אין עוד, ונאמר והיה אדוני למלך על כל הארץ, היום ההוא יהיה אדוני אחד, ושמו אחד.
We turn forward in our Siddurim to the Kaddish, Yatom, the Mourner's Kaddish, on page 598. For the week of Shiva, we remember Alan Cowan. And for the Shloshim, Joyce Marich, Pamela Levitt, and Amos Macklin. And for the yard sites, we remember Louis Frank, father of Lorraine Sivan, Ellis Alma Gillon, mother of Gwen Carver, Ida Groom, great aunt of Clive Cass, and Jane Hart's mother of Jeanette Hart Karp. James Jimmy Glantz, cousin of Thelma Gunsberg and Ray Finley, and Harry Groom, great uncle of Clive Katz, and Richard James Steed, brother-in-law of Bruce Phillips. If you would like to remember a loved one for Shiva, or for Shloshim, or for Yahrzeit, for the 7 days, the 30 days of mourning, or if this Shabbat is the anniversary of the death of a loved one, I invite you to share your loved ones' names out loud now, or to name them in your hearts at this time. Zecher Tzadik Livracha. May the memory of the righteous be for a blessing as we join together. Yitgadal v'yitkadash Shemei Rabbah, v'yamad divrach hiritei v'yamlich malchutei, v'chayachon of Yom Echon, v'chayei Beit Yisrael, v'agalav izman karif imaru.
Amen.
Yehei Shemei Rabbah mevarach le'olam olomei almaya. Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitramam v'yitnaseh. V'yitada v'yitaleh v'yitalal Shemei D'Kodesha B'rechu. Le'elam min kol berchata v'shirata, tushbachata v'nechamata, da'amiran v'yalma v'yimaru.
Amen.
Yehei shlam araba min Shemaya, v'chayim aleinu v'yal kol Yisrael v'yibur.
Amen.
Oseh shalom b'mromav, v'yaseh shalom, aleinu v'yal kol Yisrael v'yimru. Amen. Hamakom yinachem echem b'tol sha'ah havlei Tzion v'Yerushalayim. May the source of peace and peace to all who mourn, comfort to all who are bereaved in Zion and Jerusalem and around the world, and we say, Amen. As we are seated, just a couple of announcements. Our Shabbat morning services tomorrow will include the bar mitzvah of Oscar Bernstein. Many of you would have met Oscar last Shabbat if you were here. Oscar's the son of Alex Kuritsky and Danny Bernstein. They live in Toronto, in Vancouver, Canada, and are visiting here. Danny's actually, poor Oscar's actually going to have 2 bar mitzvahs, one here and one there. But he's such a cute kid. It's been fun working with him these last few months, and the whole family will be here, including his Canadian grandparents, the Kuritskis. And so please come along tomorrow morning if you are able. Everybody is invited to the Kiddush afterwards. I saw them delivering the beer today. Then it's afterwards Monday, Mahjong Monday, and then Limud on Tuesday, history with me, and then Wednesday, Israeli dancing with Margaret at 5:15. ITJ begins and Hebrew continues. Hebrew, make sure everybody knows. Okay. And then Jewish history continues with me. Thursday, TTT. Noshas is back. If you haven't signed up, please do sign up for Noshas. Very, very important. Please do sign up. And don't forget, ARTSA, your membership is coming up. ARTSA's on the membership. Please do fill out the form and return the completed ARTSA. ARTSA is very important. If you don't know about ARTSA, Australian Reform Zionist Association, this gives us a voice at the World Zionist Organization Congress in Israel. And without this membership, it means that Reform Judaism does not have a voice. So we need as many memberships as possible. So please do sign up, pay your membership. It's I think it's $18 for an individual, $36 for a family. It's critical because when they vote on issues in Israel, we need to have a stance. We need to have a voice at the World Zionist Congress. So that's what that does. It gives us seats, it gives us delegates, and we get to vote on critical issues. So that's what that is about. If you've seen in Mahadash as well last week, and if you only read your Mahadash this evening as opposed to yesterday, you would see that the Jewish Community Council of WA will be at J-Hub, is going to be putting in an art installation, and this is for young people to be involved in, and it's going to be massive. It's by the Kunz family. The Kunz family, I don't remember, the Kunz family died on October 7th. The whole family were killed, and the matriarch, or the mother, I shouldn't call her the matriarch, was an artist, and she did this big display of like angels' wings, and they're doing this display across at different places across Israel, and we're going to have this arts installation at J-Hub next to where the library is. And it's angels' wings in different colors, but each of the colors is actually children's toys. And so they're looking for donations of children's toys, which can be deposited in a wheelie bin at Menorah. And I'll mention this tomorrow. And so we've got a couple of young people in their teens who will be helping, hopefully, with the actual installation. And Lindy Medalia, who's an artist, that's Jeff Medalia's wife, Jeff saw this when he was in Israel. He's organizing to have it done. And in time for another exhibition called October 7th, which is coming, which Jeff has organized as well for it to come to J-Hub. He wants the display ready for that. Temple David has been invited to participate in the Wings of Hope. That's with the toys, with one or two other organizations. So in the actual building of that. So please, 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 whether you donate toys or if you know of young people who would like to participate from Temple David who would like to participate in that. As I said, I think I've handed over some names, but if you know of anybody else.
Is there a sort of a size requirement on the toys? How big, how small? No? Okay.
I mean, I've seen, if you have a look, I don't know if the flyer's back up there, but if you have a look, I think they'll have anything from a teddy bear that size, I think. It's big. I think if you have a look between those two pillars over there, the windows over there, that's how big the installation is probably going to be. Okay. So it's big. Mm-hmm. It's going to be quite big.
And it's a soft toys they want, or
no, hard
again,
plastic
everything as well. Okay.
Plastic toys.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
And it's going to be glued onto some special kind of board, and then cut out and then put on the wall. I'll explain more individually later if I'm not being clear. But it's going to be quite magnificent and very, it's beautiful. So think about that. And then, of course, the October 7th exhibition, which is coming to Perth first. Jeff and Lindy are bringing that out to Perth first, and then it'll go to which never happens, then it'll go to the East Coast. Okay, our final song is Od Yavo Shalom Aleinu on page 657.
Od Yavo Shalom Aleinu, Od Yavo Shalom Aleinu, Otevu shalom aleinu ve'al kulam. Otevu shalom aleinu. Otevu shalom aleinu. Otevu shalom aleinu ve'al kulam. Salam aleinu ve'al olam. Salam, salam, salam aleinu ve'al olam. Salam, salam. Otevu shalom aleinu. Otevu shalom aleinu. Otevu shalom aleinu ve'al kulam. Otevu shalom aleinu. Otevu shalom aleinu. Otevu shalom aleinu ve'al kulam.
Shabbat Shalom, everybody. Please join us in the foyer for Kiddush.